Hi everybody, it's Mr. Gray here. Thanks again for another really fun week. We have a lot of stuff coming up. The schedule is going to change a little bit. The next 2 weeks are short weeks. So next week, the 14th to the 18th, Friday the 18th, there is no school. It's a teacher work day. The teachers will be here, but the students will not be. And then the 21st is a holiday for everyone. So the next 2 weeks are 4-day weeks. Monday, the 14th, is Valentine's Day. We are doing a little Valentine's Day gift exchange. I've sent some information home about that in the last couple weeks about kind of the expectations for what to bring, and including all 28 students in our class, and some little ideas. It should be small, it should be inexpensive, or $0. You can make it. All those things are really great ideas. To make it like a fun Valentine's Day exchange. The kids will exchange like the very last thing throughout the day, and so they will kind of pack up their bags and take it home. It's not something that we're going to be rifling through throughout the day on Monday. So some other dates coming up is we're going to have Read Across America Day, which is going to be a read all day on Wednesday, March 2nd. Open house is scheduled for Thursday, March 31st. That week, the last week of March, is the last week before spring break, and that is conference week. Sometime in the next week or two, probably, I'll start sending out information about parent conferences. Parent conferences are optional, so it means like I might ask for a parent conference, or you might ask to talk with me about a conference. But if both of us feel like we don't have any questions, then we don't have to have a conference. So I'll send out one email saying I'm inviting you to a conference. If there's something I want to talk about with your student, you can always respond back. And I'll also send an email that says, if you'd like to have a conference, please let me know. And then I'll write you in, and then I'll send out a conference sign up to get like the actual times or get those set up. But other than that, keep working on multiplication, division facts practice. The spelling words keep coming every week, so make sure that's getting home and being practiced at least once a week. And then you can check out our Wordament. We're into the semifinals of our second Wordament with some really great words. So the kids can tell you about that, or you can follow the link on our updates page. We are going to be comparing and contrasting characters. We've been studying how characters act, what they feel, and how to look deeply at characters, as well as following the character's journey in stories. So the kids are going to work together in a couple little groups to compare and contrast characters and kind of present their findings about characters as we wrap up our character studies unit before we get into our next unit in a couple weeks. In writing workshop, the kids are going to publish their literary essay that they've been working on. So the kids have been working on figuring out a claim for a character in their story. James from James and the Giant Peach is brave, or James from James and the Giant Peach changed from shy to adventurous, or a character learns the lesson of this. So they've been working on a claim for their own story and then collecting evidence from their story, ideally from all over their story, that supports their claim, and then also kind of constructing an essay in a certain way where there's an introduction, there's a bunch of examples, and maybe I'm going to include some background information, how to punctuate quotation marks, even to writing a conclusion paragraph. So they've been working on that and practicing that, and next week they'll actually publish their final piece. That's what we're going to be doing next week. In math, we're continuing studying fractions. This week has been all about kind of learning what fractions are, how to represent them in an area model or an array, or a number line is what we're working on right now. Also kind of learning the vocabulary of fractions, numerator and denominator, and what those each mean. The numerator being the top number, how many, like what I'm looking at, and the denominator being how many equal pieces I have. So if I have 1/8, I'm focusing in on one piece, but there are 8 equal pieces that split up a whole. So those are kind of the things we're working on. Next week, we're going to be talking about comparing fractions and looking at fractions greater than 1. You may have heard the term improper fraction. I try to stay away from that term because it just gives this connotation that there's something wrong with the fractions because of the word improper. Fraction greater than 1 is the term you might hear from your kids, because that's the term that I'm using on any particular day. In social studies, we're going to wrap up our current unit, which is about government, both federal and state. And we're going to be looking at like important documents and symbols in the history of the United States that unite us. So people talk about the Constitution or the American flag or a bald eagle, all symbols of America, and kind of just discussing like what those are and why these particular things have a larger meaning, so that we can learn that exists for other countries and other groups as well. But we'll learn about the ones from the United States and the history of the United States. And then in science, we're wrapping up the current unit this week because we got to release the butterflies that have been growing. So we saw them as caterpillars, we watched them grow, and then they got put in a little like a netted cage so that they could form into a chrysalis and then grow and then emerge as butterflies. And we've been watching that transform over a couple of weeks. And then yesterday we actually released about 30 butterflies. So it was really fun to kind of watch all the butterflies that we've been watching go off into the world. So no science next week. And then over the next couple of weeks, we'll be starting another unit. So that's about it. Hope everyone has a great week and then eventually a really nice long weekend. And we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.